Hello everyone, my name is Ahsan Maqbool and today I'm going to talk about microplastic in general terms and how we can affect in the hydrological perspective in terms of soil hydrological functioning. So first of all, I'm going to walk through the historical background of the plastic when it was produced the first time. It was produced in late 1930s in form of nylon, that is the most common polymer that is used for the synthetic fiber. The cloth we are wearing, it has mostly the nylon or the polystyrene polymer in our body that we are carrying. So it means we are carrying some kind of microplastic, and these are the synthetic polymer. That is, it's not the bad, but they have changed our life dramatically. Because if you look around, you will find the plastics product everywhere. Cannot reach from the plastic product. And if we talk about the environmental perspective and in agriculture, in 1950 it was first used in the agriculture sector in different form. And since then, we're using in the form of drip irrigation, plastic mulching, packaging, covering crops, greenhouses, and etc. And after that, it's been used in different industries like medicine or other things. And since 2000, there was a reporting on the microplastic in the air and in the fresh water and in the soil that is increasing the reporting intensively in the literature. Where does the microplastics come from? We talk about the different industrial and different sectors that contributed to the microplastic or the macroplastic into the soil. The agriculture is the main source of macro and microplastic emission into the soil. If you look at the blue on your left hand or right hand here, the maybe blue color indicates that it is the main source of microplastic in the soil that comes from the agriculture. But if you look at the left picture here, the light red color indicates the macroplastics come from traffic. But if you look at the first line, it's also blue that indicate the LDPE. What is LDPE? LDPE is a low density polyethylene that is used for agriculture mulching. And so LDPE is the most common abundant form of microplastic present in the soil that we see lately in the soil. And how much residual or the residual mulch film is present in the soil? There's a study conducted that they used the plastic mulch for over 10 years and they have found up to 260 kilograms per square hectare of the residual plastic mulch in the soil. So this amount is, you can imagine, 1 kilogram of plastic mulch can cover 140 square meters of area. So this means it can cover the more than 2 or 3 football square in your area. So what I'm doing in this regard, I'm trying to calculate quantify the impact of microplastic on soil hydrological functioning, and to do so, we are trying to study the soil water retention curve. It has 3 main parts, which has the first part is gravitational water, where the water pools are filled, soil pools are filled with water. The second is with partially filled with water. That is the point where it is maximum plant water available. And then the third one is a wilting point, where there is a water in the soil, but you cannot extract from the soil. So for agriculture point of view, the second portion is most important. You can see it has 2 different categories: easily available water, difficult available water, and drought or stress zone. So you are more into the plants things, you know better what is the drought and stress zones. I'm not going into details. We have conducted some preliminary experiment with different concentration with the input of conventional microplastic. We milled the mulch into microplastic, put into the soil with the known amount of water, and incubate it for 24 hours to make it homogeneous distribution of soil water pore. And what we have found here, if you look at the wilting point, it has the huge variability. It could create the difficult for the agronomist to assess when the plant is going to die or when there is a permanent wilting point. But if you look at this section of the curve, which is the point where maximum water is available to the plant, it also has a huge variability. So what it can indicate, it means it could create the early stress in the plant and it could reduce the soil pore water. So what is the significance of soil pore water if you talk about at micro level? Micro level, it could create the non-linear response in the photosynthesis process. It could create the effect the nematodes, that is the inhabitant in the soil pore water, and the springtails that live in the soil but drink pore water. So these three are the most important factors that we need to study in terms of microplastic and soil pore water. And when these factor has non-linear response, it could create the non-linear reflection in terms of land atmosphere interaction, emission of carbon dioxide and other gases. So when this non-linear response goes the regional or the global scope, somehow it can articulate or integrate in the macro level. So it can create the uncertainty in the hydrological cycle, because if the plant get less uptake the water, it could create the less evapotranspiration in the environment, and it could create the less formation of clouds or the condensation in the environment, and then there could be less rain or less precipitation in the snow, in terms of snow or in terms of rain. But if it creates the uncertainty in the infiltration as well, because it disturbs the soil pore, and when it disturbs the soil pore, it could articulate in terms of decrease in infiltration, and that could comes up at the less groundwater recharge in the vegetated or the non-vegetated region. This Swiss study conducted how much per person contribute to the macro and microplastic. You could see that it's 613 gram per capita. Every person is producing the microplastic in terms of different polymer. And look at the PET. PET is the most common polymer that is used in the drinking water bottle that we use. And then if you see the LDPEs here is from agriculture perspective, so 94 gram per capita. But if you compare the soil and the water results, this is not comparable even. This is very high number that we are producing and putting in the soil. So we are making the visible things more invisible. Soil is in our underneath, but we cannot look how much plastic is in. We are only focusing on the water. We need to pay more attention on the soil as well. So this is the take-home message. When you next time see or consume the plastic, so you need to think about how much you are contributing to this problem, so you can make the difference. Yeah. Thank you. Project that I'm working on the surplus, and if you need more information, you can visit the website. I'm also part of the priority project, which is the cost section. So if you need more information, you can visit the website. Thank you.